Hi guys, today we're going to be reacting to men plus 105 kilos at the 2017 Weightlifting World Championships, and specifically we're going to watch a battle between Behdad Salimi and Lasha Talakhadze. So please enjoy this commentary. We're going to watch history because this was the first international competition where a human lifted 220 kilos or 485 pounds. So, to put you in context, this is 2017, a year later after Rio Olympics, where these two titans clashed, Behdad Salimi and Lasha Talakhadze. Here we see Behdad Salimi opening with 205 kilos. His hips are a bit behind. Sometimes this is because a lack of a proper warm up, or maybe he was just a bit nervous. The ideal position for you to catch a snatch is to push your knees forward. If you take a look at this, when he catches that weight, I mean, it's 205 kilos, of course. It's not that I'm going to teach him. It's just for you to understand what is going on. But he catches the weight. His hips are behind his central center of mass, so it's really difficult for him to stabilize that weight. But that Salim is really strong, so he's able to pull that through. And now Lasha Talakhadze, he's going to open, if I remember, 210 kilos or 463 pounds. Yes, 210 kilos. Now, right now, we are so used to watching Lasha opening at a huge weight like this. But let me tell you, in 2017, we weren't used to that. He opened with 208 kilos at the Olympic Games. So, actually, at this point, this was the heaviest opener ever in competition, 210 kilos. Nobody else in the world in history ever opened at that weight. And Lasha just did it like a warm up weight. Take a look at this guy, the guy in the front row. He's really excited to watch Lasha lift. And I bet you that I would be just as excited to watch Lasha if I were him. So Lasha Talakhadze, as I told you in a different video, he works his technique all the time. With every single movement he does, he lifts perfectly. That's why when he competes, there's almost no mistakes, and he's able to lift the weight perfectly every single time. So right here, Behdad Salim is pointing that there's some issue with the barbell. Perhaps is that the barbell is dirty, or he wants the safeties to be more. He wants the safeties to be really tight. Actually, what happened here, other thing that could happen, is because these lifters are so massive that they need more time than the average weightlifter. They need twice the time to recover. So you might think that this is going to affect Behdad Salimi, but actually, I think it's a strategy for him to be ready, to be because right now there's only him and Lasha lifting, and it's only 1 minute between lifts. So of course he's going to need the time to rest and recover. So he asked for the barbell to be clean and the safeties to be tight for him to recover a bit more. So yeah, a lot of people was saying that this was against Behdad Salimi, but in reality he asked for it. So it's kind of a trick. It's a trick or a strategy that he asked for that in order for him to be recovered and being able to lift these 211 kilos as easy as he did. Now, One thing that I want you to realize is that when you are competing against another lifter and you are not as strong as him, you are going to ask for 1 kilo more. Now, I want you to look at the weight that Lasha asks for his second attempt. If Lasha were competing with Behdad Salimi, he would have asked 212, 213. But no, Lasha is not competing against Behdad Salimi. Lasha is competing against the world record. And the craziest thing right now is that Lasha is going to ask 4 kilos more. Not 212, not 213. Lasha is going to ask 5 kilos more, which is the weight that he did 1 year before at Rio Olympics. So take a look at this. I'm gonna, yes, 215 kilos, which is 475 pounds. Ah, and he does it perfectly. Look at this guy, the bearded guy. He's so excited to be there. Look at that. There's not a straighter pull than that. Even with his big belly, he's able to pull that weight so straight and so close to him. He's not losing any power between the pull and the catch. And look at this. That's what I told you. He's asking for 216 because he's competing against Lasha Talakhadze. But Lasha is not competing against him. Even if he make this lift, it's not going to change the fact that Lasha is going to ask more weight. So let's watch this. And this is not to take anything from him. He's an amazing lifter. He was an amazing lifter. He set world records, the 214 kilo snatch from 2011 World Weightlifting Championship. But now, this is the era of Lasha Talakhadze. And he asks for 216, which actually is the weight that he did 1 year before, the Olympic record. And the pressure is too much, and he's not able to do it. Now, look at the bearded guy. He's kind of worried because a year before, the Iranian crowd was really angry and they were screaming at everybody to make them fail their lifts. So he's really worried that that thing would repeat at this championship. And now, the time that we've all been waiting for, Lasha Talakhadze asks for 220 kilos, 485 pounds, which is a legendary weight. Never, ever we've seen this weight at any competition before. This was the first time ever in history that a human being lifted this weight in competition, let alone training or whatever. In competition. Now enjoy. Perfect. That just happened and history was made that day. You can argue that maybe his elbows were a bit shaky in the catch, but it's 220 kilos, bro. This weight is massive. 220 kilos. If you don't know how heavy is this, load 220 kilos in your gym and try to lift it. And you will see how heavy this is and how ridiculous is that Lasha is lifting it in the snatch. So yeah, this is the lift. So now we're going to watch the second part and we're going to watch Behdad Salimi open with 241 kilos, which I don't know how much that is in pounds. You can convert that weight on Google. 241 kilos and oof, those elbows. And the Iranians, you can see that they don't know anything about weightlifting because they are celebrating like if this was a good lift. As you can see, the center referee made the call that this wasn't a good lift. The clean is perfect, but the jerk, you can see the press out. The press out is when your elbow is not locked when you catch the weight overhead. And this is so evident. Look at that elbow. It's so shaky and it's out of the place. It's different from the 220 kilos from Lasha Talakhadze. And you can tell they don't know what just happened. They think, oh, he lifted over his head and then it should be correct. And the judges are like, oh my God, we need to overturn this. But they know what's going to happen. It already happened the year before. But it's so evident that this lift is a no lift. And the decision is overturned. It's a no lift. So he asks for 1 kilo more, 242 kilos. Let's see if this is the good weight, if he can make it. 242 kilos is more than 500 pounds. It's like 440 something pounds. 242 kilos. Look at that. Look at the difference. Look at the elbows. The elbows are perfect. And he knows that. He's a weightlifter. He's a professional weightlifter. A professional weightlifter should know when is a good lift and when it isn't. And he's like, is it okay now? Of course, man. You know it is a good lift. And you know that the past lift wasn't a good lift. Okay, so now we're going to see Lasha Talakhadze open with 243 kilos. Now, yeah, I told you that if you're not competing with somebody else, you're going to ask different weights, but this is different because this is the clean and jerk. And Lasha is 9 kilos over Behdad Salimi because Behdad Salimi lifted 211 kilos and Lasha Talakhadze lifted 220. So he's 9 kilos over Behdad Salimi. So he's going to win. If he lifts this, it's game over unless Behdad Salimi lifts 10 kilos more than this. So just for your information, 243 kilos plus 220 is going to be 463. 463. Look at that clean, man. He could have catch that clean at the power position. He could have made it a power clean like Shishi Young. And even the commentators are saying that. Maybe at this point you'll understand that you're not competing against him. You're just competing for the second place. So I'm going to forward this until the third attempt of the Behdad Salimi because that's why we're here. Oh, I confused him. And this is Saratiba Reyes, Fernando Reyes. And I don't know where he is. And we're going to see the second attempt from Lasha. 250 kilos. I know how many pounds this is. 551 pounds. 250 kilos. 470 pounds. 470 kilos in the total. Look at those elbows, man. It's a perfect lift. That's it. Game over, man. Now let's watch where is Behdad Salimi. Of course, he's going to ask for more weight. Here he is. Now, to defeat Lasha Talakhadze, he needs 260, and he chose 252. So he knows that he's not going for the gold. Second place overall. Let's see. Is he clean? And look at him. Look at this guy. He knows it. He knows it. How could you not know it? The Iranians right here, they don't know it. But he knows it. He knows that wasn't a good lift. And you, Behdad Salimi, you should know that's not a good lift. And of course, it's going to be overturned. Look at this. The judges are so afraid to give a red light, but what's going to happen next is that they are going to overturn the lift. So they overturned his lift, and he's going to riot. Look, he's really mad. But you know that you didn't make the lift, man. Now listen to the crowd. I'm gonna up the volume.
Clean jerk medal, but he's not going to earn a total medal. He will finish if he makes this. 444 kilo total. It'll move him into 5th overall. And the Iranian contingency here in this audience is not letting up. No. And unfortunately for Mr. Sun here, he didn't do no bearing anything for it because Salimi is already guaranteed a bronze and he is out of the medal hunt.
How are you going to be able to lift, to focus for a PR when an entire nation is shouting against you? And I know they are not screaming because of him, they are screaming because of the judges, but I mean, Behdad Salimi knew, and everybody else, that his lift wasn't good. The only ones who think that something wrong happened are the crowd, the Iranian crowd. So this is really difficult.
There's some counter cheering for something. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
This place is cheering for the right reasons now. That's a standing O for saying 3 white flags.
Now this is a testament of the mindset of this lifter, Mark Sain, because he lifted 253, even with all the crowd shouting at him. This guy is unbelievable. Mark Sain deserves more recognition. 253, a personal record after the crowd is screaming like that. And now the time for Lasha Talakhadze to make history. This was the first time that he did something unbelievable. 257 kilos plus 220, 477 kilograms, the heaviest total of all time. And the crowd is shouting, but he doesn't care. Clean and jerk. A perfect jerk. And this is a copy of the same competition between him and Behdad Salimi at Rio, because the same thing happened. He lifted 215 and 258, and the crowd was screaming at him, but Lasha did it. 6 out of 6. 477 kilo total. The heaviest total ever at the time. Now, just just for a little redemption for Behdad Salimi, because he's not the one to blame because of the crowd. You can see that Behdad Salimi is going to go to give a hug to Lasha Talakhadze. Look, Lasha Talakhadze knows that it's not his fault, and Behdad Salimi also knows that he didn't wanted Lasha to fail his attempts. So everything good between them. They respect each other, and the problem here is the crowd that they don't know what's going on. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that reaction, guys. Remember, English is not my native language, so I'm doing my best to make you feel and understand what's going on in this competition. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you like it, and if you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to be uploading more videos like this. My name is Victor for Super Soldiers Weightlifting, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.